Hello there and welcome back to my channel, or if this is the first video of mine you are seeing, then welcome. We're in full fall mode over here. I even have my shirt with my little mushrooms on it. We have scoot in a little bit more so you can see the mushroom earrings. And then I have Halloween on the nails, which a few of these actually glow in the dark, which I think that's pretty neat. I love that. Let me get in there so you can see them. And the thumbnail is just a plain black. We got just like a regular, like orangey kind of, I guess it's supposed to be more of like a traffic cone orange. Sometimes it looks more red. Then we have cats, bats, and candy corn. But I wanted to do a kind of more of an olive green inspired eye, and reason why is because I recently pulled this palette from my collection, the Jungle Lights palette from Flower Beauty, and this shade right here. Now they describe it as like a camo green, and I'm sure that's the case, but when I look at it, I see a little bit more of an olive tone to it. And if you know anything about these palettes, you'll know how amazing this formula is. These are so beautiful. I mean, just look at that. Like, just look how pretty that is. They look like liquid metal. These are some of the best shimmer shades I've ever tried that at a more affordable price point. So I thought I would just do an eye look inspired by that. I do have another palette that I'm going to be pulling the mattes from, and then I'm just going to do the rest of my makeup as well on camera. Why not? Turn this more into a get ready with me style video, so let's go ahead and get into it. For my matte shades, I am going to be using this palette from Profusion. This is their Harvest eyeshadow palette. I'm so glad that they still sell this palette because this is just, I mean, the most perfect palette for fall. I've already primed my eyes with the Milani eyeshadow primer. I just used this one today. I didn't want to use that Urban Decay one because it has that sparkly base. I didn't really want that for today's look, so I just went back to my Milani one for now. On a Sigma E24, I'm going in with the shade Vegetation. Okay, and I'm just going to apply that right here into my crease. Felt like this had more of that olivey undertone to it, so maybe this would be a good shade to start out with. And for those of you who have an olive undertone in your skin, this type of look would probably look very beautiful on you. I know I have more of an olive undertone in my skin because I noticed that foundations with that kind of undertone match me perfectly. So I do feel like these shades are just really pretty. And of course I'm going to take that Flawless Concealer brush from e.l.f. and I'm just going to go just around the edges of that shade. Not a lot, just very softly. I'm barely touching my skin with this brush. I think that if you are definitely into fall colors and you want a more affordable palette, this palette from Profusion is so nice. I believe it's $10, I think. It's not expensive at all. I might be wrong, maybe it's 20, but I want to say it's 10. I believe it's $10. Okay, I'm having trouble with this eye. It wants to look really patchy. I'm not sure why. I don't know if I just didn't set my eyeshadow primer enough. Try pressing that shade in there to see if that helps me a little bit. I just feel like it looks kind of like it didn't, and ignore that out there. Just, that always happens when I do my eyeshadow. I'm a little bit messy here. Like maybe if I press it, like really press it in, it'll look better. I just felt like it wasn't sticking. Like it was wanting to just look kind of muddy and not really stick to my lid very much. Right, we're just going around the edge, not really much over it, just around it. Okay, I am going to probably have to go over with more on this side to make that match because this side got a little bit darker. Because I had to really pack that shade on to get it to show up. So I'm going to do the same thing over here. We're really going to pack that shade. Just to kind of even out that darkness, because this side I didn't go in with as much pigment. But I kind of had to on the other side because I felt like I couldn't get it to stick. I don't know if I want to say it's the palette per se, because I've never had issues with this palette. I think it's mostly just me. I don't really work with tones like this a lot. Like, now, I hate to use the word colorful because this is such a dark shade, like more of a grungy kind of shade, but it is like a colorful shade because it's a green, but it's probably more of a me thing because I just don't work with shades like this like I used to do. I much prefer softer, neutral mattes than shades like this, even though I think these are very pretty. But that's probably about the best I'm going to get it. And like I said, just ignore all of this out here. I'm definitely going to be cleaning all of that up with concealer later. On that same brush, I'm going in with the shade Nocturnal. Alright, now I'm going to press that on this outer half of my lid. This is almost like a really dark green black. Really pressing that down, that brush, and then I'll go back in and blend it in just a second. Just want to make sure it's pressed. And as always, I'm going back in with that Flawless Concealer brush, and we're going to work around that shade. I want to soften that up. I actually might have to take micellar water and clean that up first, because that's getting very messy with these deeper shades. So I'll probably do that right quick off camera once I finish the eye look. And we'll just do the same thing over here. So don't let my struggles fool you with this palette. This is just a me thing. I don't work with shades like this anymore. I find them just harder to work with anyway, no matter what palette I'm using, which is one of the reasons why I just love neutrals, because they're just so much easier. But that's a me thing. Okay, I cleaned up everything on the lower, because geez, that was intense. So that looks much better. Of course, that's what I get for using that really fluffy, this brush, this concealer brush, that's what I get, because when you use this, of course it's going to go everywhere, but I like this brush because it helps diffuse the eyeshadow so much more easier than a little bit more of a fluffier brush. That one is just a little bit larger and it's denser. Okay, and then we're going to go in with this shade. This is the shade Anaconda. Alright, I've taken a little bit of that on my finger. These nails that I'm wearing here are a little bit shorter, so I figured I could get in there really easy with my finger. Oh man, look at that shade. Ooh, so pretty. I don't know how it's going to look on camera. In person, it definitely has that more olive undertone. I don't know about how it looks on camera. But that is so beautiful. Gosh, this shade is so pretty. Look at that. Ooh. I want to say I remember a creator one time comparing these to Sydney Grace eyeshadows. Now, I've never used Sydney Grace, so I can't speak to that, but I want to say I remember a YouTuber doing that, saying that these were like very similar to those. Oh, that's so stunning. Okay, now for mascara, I had the Tartelette, what is this one? Tartelette XL tubing mascara. I just had this little this little deluxe sample size. I don't know, you know, as dark as this look is, I might have to go in with false eyelashes. I don't know, I'm gonna see. I'm gonna apply my mascara off camera because, I mean, you've definitely seen me apply this mascara. This is a really good mascara though. So I'm gonna go ahead and apply that right quick off camera. I don't know yet if I'm going to apply false eyelashes. I'm gonna see how the mascara does and I'll be right back. Okay, for now, I just did mascara, but I still might do some false eyelashes before the video's over. I don't know. I just feel like with looks like this that are a little bit more darker, I feel like I always need a false eyelash because my natural lashes are not, you know, the greatest. I mean, they're fine. I'm, you know, very thankful for them, but I mean, they're not, you know. So I feel like they're not going to stand out against such a dark eye look, so I don't know about that. But I'm going to do the rest of my face first, and we'll see how I think at the end of the look. Now for primer, I'm going to use these two from CoverGirl. I mentioned in a video probably last week or a week before, I'm not exactly sure when it went up because I do a lot of pre-filming. I mentioned that I was worried these were breaking me out because I was developing some breakouts in the areas that I applied this. However, I don't believe it was these. I'm still going to be testing them out again, so I don't know just yet, but I realized that a product I was using has expired, and it wasn't these two. It was one of the Clean Beauty brand. It was an item that I had in my everyday makeup drawer. It was the Merit highlighting stick. I just like to mix these two together, and then we're just gonna press. I noticed that it had like a odor to it, but I had still been trying to apply it because I wanted to see if I could at least get as much use out of it as I could for this month since it was in my everyday makeup drawer, and then, you know, unfortunately have to throw it away. And I believe that that's what was actually breaking me out, because it was expired, because it did have a very bad smell to it. So I ended up getting rid of it, unfortunately, and I am going to still test these primers out because they very much might have been doing something too. I don't know, but I want to believe now that it was probably that Merit highlighting stick. Because I've had that Merit stick in my collection for a while, and I know Merit is a clean beauty brand, but I will say that I think some clean beauty brands hold up a little better than others. I would still recommend that highlighting stick to someone who loves a natural highlighter, but I think for me, it was always one of my favorite ones because of that reason, but I don't think I'd repurchase it simply because I just don't use highlighter. It's just not something I like. And I'm patting this in because I am wearing sunscreen, and I just didn't want it to mess up my sunscreen. So I don't believe it was these two. I am going to still keep testing them though, just to make sure, but I don't believe it was these two. I do believe it was that expired product. You know, normally I apply my primer right before I do my eyeshadow, so it has time to sit on my face. I completely forgot to do that. So I'm going to be letting this sink in for a minute. And while I do that, I'm just going to tell you right quick what I'm going to use for foundation. I'm just using really products from my everyday makeup drawer because these are some that I definitely want to get some good use out of. And this first one is from CoverGirl. This is their Clean Invisible Foundation. Now this one's in the shade Fair Porcelain, which is too light of a shade for me. So I like mixing it with the e.l.f. bronzing drops. These are the rose gold ones, which I believe is the lightest one. I just mix these two together to kind of help, you know, not make this so light, just add a touch. Just a little bit, because these are very pigmented. I don't know why I picked that shade with that CoverGirl product. I don't know why I would do that, because it's even says on the back that it is a cool neutral undertone. I do not have either of those. It definitely has a lot of like pinkiness to it, which I don't know why I picked this one up. I'm going to add in, I'm just doing this on the back of my hand, and I'm only going to add in just a little bit of this because you don't need much. This is very pigmented. I learned that the hard way the first time I used this. And then I'm just going to mix that on the back of my hand. And then I like to just take my sponge and pick it up from here and then go in. That's my favorite way to apply foundations now. It does kind of shear it out, like when I rub it all the way across my hand, it shears it out some, which that's what I like. I really love to wear my foundations more lightweight. I definitely don't like full coverage stuff. Not for me. Well, unfortunately, I feel like where I'm at, it is still very much really hot, hot, hot weather. No fall weather yet here where I'm at, which is a shame because, oh, I'm just so ready to wear sweaters. I'm so ready to wear sweaters, to wear cardigans. They're my favorite. I didn't put on my tinted sunscreen on my neck again today. I completely forgot. I don't know why I forget. I just end up using my Sunbum one on my neck, and then instead of the e.l.f. one that I've been using that has a tint to it, because then it would match me perfectly. Okay, and for corrector, I'm going to use the one from Cali Ray. This one is in the shade Pale Sun. I love this one because I can wear it by itself if I want to, because the shade is absolutely perfect. But I have a concealer that I'm going to apply over the top of it, but I like this one for those just really easy days where I don't really want to wear a lot of makeup. This is perfect. Which I will say is most days. I wear very, very soft makeup on the usual. I feel like, and maybe I'm wrong, maybe I have a look like this more recently than I think, but I don't ever do looks like this. This kind of grungy kind of stuff, I don't really do those types of looks. There's nothing wrong with them. I think they're beautiful. I'm kind of a barely there person when it comes to eyeshadow. And then for concealer, I'm going to use the Natasha Denona one. This one is in the shade Y1. And just take a little bit of that. This is a good concealer. I see why people like it. It does have really nice coverage. Of course, now I like to use a sponge, so I am kind of toning the coverage down a little bit. But it is a really nice one. And for powder, I'm going to use the Tarte Creaseless Setting Powder. This one is in the lavender shade. I've grown to love this one a lot more than the first time I used it. Well, now, I love the powder itself, but the shade. But I find that if I go in with a very small amount, it doesn't leave as such a strong purple cast on me. Also, as I'm filming this, I saw where Tarte is showing some of their holiday stuff. It looked really nice. Like they were releasing multiple sets for multiple skin tones. Or that's what it looked like. Maybe I'm totally wrong because I didn't like look too hard. I was just kind of passing through on Instagram. Oh wait, I forgot that I'm using a liquid and a cream. Well, that's okay. I'll just go ahead and do this. I forgot that I'm using a liquid blush and a cream bronzer, but it's okay. I'm gonna go ahead and set my under eye at least. Maybe it won't interfere. I mean, look at the difference. But I was pretty impressed with what I saw as far as their holiday stuff. It looked really pretty. I will say that they can usually get me every year with those holiday sets. Like, I don't know what it is, but I fall for it every year. So I might end up picking up something. I don't know yet. I do like the sets that have like I think there's like 5 or 6 minis of the blush and maybe a highlighter, and then I think they had one for more like lighter skin tones and then deeper skin tones, I believe is what I saw. Like it looked like 2 different options. Now, I'm not that interested in the highlighters in those sets, but the blushes, their blushes are really nice. Okay, I'm going to stop there and not set up here anything because I completely forgot that I have cream and liquid blush and bronzer, so I can't believe that I forgot that. So I'm going to come back and hopefully hopefully my liquid blush will lay okay on this area. But for my bronzer, I'm going to use the Rare Beauty one. This one is in the shade Power Boost. I think today I'm going to put this on the back of my hand. Sometimes I'll use this on just straight on my forehead, but I'm just going to go in with like this, and then I'm going to use this more denser side of my Refi brush and then pick it up like that. Because sometimes I find that when I apply it directly to my forehead, I apply way too much, and this way it's better. I do this all the time with blush sticks. Like I love to apply blush sticks to the back of my hand, so I don't know why I don't do that with the bronzer sticks. I don't know. I just feel like I can get it a little more even and not be so harsh, because the last time I used this bronzer stick, I went in a little bit too much. You just want like a little bit, because see, very subtle. That's what I like. This is a good bronzer stick though from Rare Beauty. It is a good one. I do like it. Also, I believe I saw where Tarte is kind of doing like I never bought one, but I'm sure many of you remember like those beauty books that It Cosmetics would do. I don't know if they still do them. I think they quit. I saw where Tarte has one too, but I believe it's only available on like QVC, if I'm not mistaken. Now, it's not something that I'd be interested in because I'm trying not to buy face palettes, which that's really what it is, because it has eyeshadows and like your whole face step in one thing, which I think is neat, but I know good and well I would never use it. I like that. That's much more softer than when I go in directly with the stick. I don't know why I do that, but I like that much better. Okay, but since I went ahead and did that, I might as well just go ahead and set my forehead with my powder. This is a really good powder from Tarte. I will give them credit. I still want a translucent, but this is a good powder. Like, they did a good job with the formula of this powder. This is nice. It really does blur. Now, I love my one size more, but that's more so because of the shades that one size offers. And for blush, I'm going in with the Tarte Man-Eater Blush and Glow Cheek Plump. This one is in the shade Buff. This is so beautiful. I even use this on really quick, easy days. I use this as blush and bronzer. Like, I'll just dot it up here and just... maybe I'll have to do a video on like what I usually go for on days where I'm not filming or doing anything for Instagram. Maybe I'll have to show you my little go-to look, because I love it for these very easy days. But this, I love. I love this. And then I'm going to take just this side of that Refi brush. This is my favorite brush. I honestly need to purchase another one, because it's my favorite one. I use it all the time for blush. I mean for powders, creams, or liquid blushes. I think it works beautifully with all of them because it's fluffier and it has like duo fiber bristles, so I find that it applies not too heavy-handed, which is what I like. I like very soft makeup, contrary to these eyes today, but for the most part, I do love very soft makeup. And this brush is my favorite for that reason, because it really helps diffuse. But you know, I was speaking about face palettes. What do any of you think about the Hourglass palettes? I know they've been out now for probably several weeks by now, but I will admit that I'm kind of disappointed with them because I bought them every year for the animals. And so seeing them not have animals this year, I was just, I feel like that's probably going to really keep me away from them. I don't know. I don't think I'm going to buy one this year. I mean, something could change. I might change my mind, but I don't think so. I think they should go back to the animals. Because for me, that's the reason why I wanted them. I know it's the inside of those palettes that counts, and I'm aware of that, but I didn't really buy them for the inside. Yeah, I think the powders on the inside are nice, but I love the palettes with the animals. I just think that that was so beautiful. I love seeing animals on very luxe packaging. It's one of the reasons why I really want to try Chantecaille, but oh man, that brand is so expensive. But I would really like to try their brand because I know they have animals on a lot of their products. I know they have a cheetah collection out right now, and then they have like these single eyeshadows that have animals. I just love that. I love to see animals on very luxe packaging. Ooh, is that pretty? I love that blush. It's so pretty. Like if you've never tried those, I would definitely recommend them. They are so beautiful. And I know they have like a ton of shades, but this one's my favorite shade because I just think it's, first of all, it's perfect for fall, but then it's just perfect for like quick days because, see, this tone makes also a beautiful bronzer, at least for my skin tone, so it's so lovely. Okay, I'm just going to do my brows right quick. I have my e.l.f. Instant Lift Waterproof Brow Pencil, and this one, I always forget the shade, Deep Brown. And then for my brow gel, my little Kosas Air Brow Gel. My little mini here is still going strong, but I believe there's about that much left. There's not much left. And the same with my little pencil. That's all I have left. I can't twist it up anymore. So today might be the last time I can use this pencil. So I'm going to do my brows right quick. I'm going to just do that off camera because you have seen me do that plenty of times. And then we'll come back and finish up my lower lash line and we'll do the lips. And then this more, I guess you can say, grungy olive look will be completed. Okay, the brows really, they're not perfect today. I think it's because that brow pencil, I do have an empty on that brow pencil now, and I think it was just getting too, and I was having to really press it to get any bit left out of it, so they're not the best today, but it's okay. We're going to move on. Now, I don't really want this darkness on my lower lash line. That's just not for me. So I'm going to take a Sigma E57 and I'm going to go in with the shade Oak from this palette. I just don't really want that darkness on my lower lash line, so I'm just going to take that and I'm going to run that all the way across. See, this will give me a little something, but it's not going to be like that. And using that same brush, I'm going in with Harvest Moon because you can see that kind of has like a greenness to it, so I'm going to go in with that. And we're going to apply that, ooh, pretty, on this inner corner. Just to add a little bit of something there. Okay, and then just put mascara on that lower lash line. But here is the eye look all done. You have to let me know what you think about it. Do you like this kind of look? For the lips, I'm first going to go in with this e.l.f. Cream Glide Lip Liner, and this one is in Truth or Bear. I'm going to swatch this for you. That's what that looks like. And then I'm just going to do what I always do. I line my lips, fill in the top, and then blot it down to the lower lip. So that's pretty on its own, but I have a lipstick I'm going to put over the top, and that's from CoverGirl. This one is in the shade Maple Glaze. It's one of their new clean lip colors, and I think it's pretty much a spot-on match for that lip liner. These are really nice, and they have some pretty shades. But there we have this completed kind of, I guess you can kind of say this is grungy. I'm not sure if this would be considered grungy, but it's kind of dark like that, like more of a kind of smoky, grungy, olive greeny kind of look. But I do hope that you enjoyed today's video, and if you did, I hope you will please consider leaving a like, a comment, or subscribing if you haven't already. And make sure you hit the bell icon so you are alerted to all my future uploads, and follow me on Instagram at jessicadeerly. All of these products will be listed and linked for you below. They are affiliate links, so if you click through and purchase, I do earn a small commission. And if you choose to do so, thank you so much for supporting me and my channel, and I hope to see you in my next video. Bye!